Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Vocational Education and Training, SOVET, Diploma in Business Process Outsourcing Finance and Accounting, Dbpofa, revised. Bpoi 103 Procure to Pay, P2P, Accounts Payable. Unit 2 Outsourcing of Procure to Pay, Reasons and Enablers. 2.0 Objectives. After studying this unit, learner should be able to explain why procure to pay, P2P, processes are outsourced. Describe the technologies and tools which enable the outsourcing of P2P processes and highlight how different teams across geographies and time zones work together to make the P2P processes work. 2.1 Introduction. Outsourcing as a business strategy has gained significant acceptance over the last 2 decades. In this unit, we will understand the key reasons why corporations outsource their procure-to-pay (P2) process and the activities typically outsourced. Employees working in a P2P process in a BPO work on IT systems rather than use paper documents. So we will have a look at the specific IT applications and hardware used in P2P processing. This will help us to be effective at our jobs at the earliest when we start employment. In this unit, you will learn about the reasons for outsourcing P2P and the available technology enables. 2.2 Outsourcing P2P and its reasons. Let us start by looking at what is meant by the term outsourcing. It refers to the practice of an organization giving out a part of its operations to another organization to perform. The former is referred to as the client organization, and the latter is termed as an outsourcing service provider. Since the service provider is specialized in providing the service, the client organization prefers to outsource the activities to it rather than performing it themselves. Look at the screen. Fig 2.1 Outsourcing of administrative functions like finance to a BPO. Outsourcing as a practice first became popular in the manufacturing sector, where each company works with a large number of vendors who handle various services that would otherwise have been done by the company's employees. Take the example of a large computer manufacturer. It has its employees working in factories assembling computers, related data with the service provider, e.g., names and employee numbers of all the employees, their salary and bonus information, in case they are paid by the hour, then their hours logged at work, any deductions that need to be made from their payroll. The service provider will process this information and prepare a report of each employee's gross wages, taxes, deductions, net payable, salary etc., and send it back to the client, computer manufacturer. If the client needs, then the service provider will also help answer employees' questions on salary-related matters. The client gains from such an arrangement as it allows him to concentrate on the most critical part of the business, which is making faster and better computers and providing good service to its customers, while not having to worry about hiring payroll managers, tax consultants to make sure that employees are receiving their salaries on time. The service provider gains from this as he provides a specialized service at a lower cost. He can bring a lot of specialized knowledge like payroll accounting and taxation and provide this service at much lower costs to a lot of his clients, not just the computer manufacturer. We will discuss the other benefits of outsourcing shortly. Gradually, outsourcing spread to the service sector companies like banks, healthcare and hospitality. In the 90s, large corporations felt the need to focus on the core business activities that give them a competitive advantage and help them survive the tough competition due to globalization. As a result, they were keen to outsource activities which were not considered core to their operations. This gave a fill-up to the business process outsourcing (BPO) industry. Why would a company pay another organization to perform finance? The service provider is able to deliver much better performance on the process. Their employees develop a lot of experience and expertise in the P2P area. Also, they invest in specialized IT tools and applications which help in reduced cost per transaction with utmost quality of output. Hence, we see the following benefits in outsourcing P2P. 1. Reduced costs. Since the service provider supports a number of customers and handle high volumes, they are able to bring down the processing costs. E.g., same manpower can process multiple clients' invoices. These Savings are further enhanced if the services are provided remotely from a low-cost country like India. 2. Vendor satisfaction. Since the performance improves in an outsourced P2P process, the vendors of the company receive their payments on time. Hence, they will be keen on doing business with the client and will be willing to give better commercial terms. 3. Strong and effective internal controls. The service provider is able to implement better controls to prevent financial irregularities. 4. Improved decision making with accurate information. The outsourcing service provider is able to provide better reports regarding the process. This information can provide a lot of useful insights to management to make better purchase related decisions and efficiently manage working capital. 5. Standardized business processes. In a large company which operates over different countries, it is often seen that the P2P processes vary from one location to another. When such a company outsources to a service provider who can support all these different locations, the latter is able to standardize and simplify things into one process. This standardization and simplification brings a range of benefits to the company as the process is much easier to manage. 6. Best practices. Thanks to their expertise, the service provider is able to advise the client on ways that their P2P process can be redesigned and improved. 7. Freeing of management time. Outsourcing helps to free up the time of clients' management to focus on their core business. 8. Using time zones to reduce response time. The fact the service provider and the client work in different time zones can be used to ensure quicker response to service requests, e.g., the work that is generated during the course of the working day in New York can be processed during the working day in India, which is 9.5 hours ahead in time. The completed work can be sent back to the US before the start of the next working day, thus resulting in a faster completion time. Overall, the outsourcing of P2P results in lowering the cost of transactions and offering better quality service to the client and their vendors. Sourcing, procurement, receiving payment. Of the 4 key activities in the P2P process, the payment step, also known as the accounts payable process, is the most commonly outsourced activity. This portion is usually managed by the finance. Some companies also outsource the sourcing and procurement activities, which are usually managed by the procurement or purchasing function in a company and hence comes under the umbrella of procurement outsourcing. The receiving step is managed by the user depth or store function in a company. Since the activity requires a physical presence in the client organization, it is usually not outsourced to a BPO service provider. The accounts payable or AP process is one of the most commonly outsourced. F. 1. Reduction of costs. 2. Faster processing. 3. Quicker resolution of requests. 4. More satisfied vendors. 5. Strong and effective internal controls. 6. Better reporting leading to improved decision making. 7. Standardized business processes. 8. Best practice and process expertise. 9. Freeing up of clients' management time to focus on their core business. Of the P2P process, the steps that can be potentially outsourced are sourcing, procurement and payments. The payment or AP process comes under the definition of finance. The email interface can also be configured to send out reminders in case the concerned person does not complete the task within a certain time. 6. Telephony tools. Some of the outsourced F. To know the expected date of its payment. Similarly, the invoice query resolution team needs to call up client managers and the vendors to seek clarifications on the invoices that have been kept on hold. For example, in case the prices quoted on the invoice do not match the price on the purchase order, the invoice processing team needs to put the invoice on hold and seek clarifications from the client and the vendor. There are a number of software and hardware applications used to manage these calls. These are called telephony tools. For example, the automatic call distributor (ACD) is a device that is used to route calls and also makes it possible to use software to report statistics relating to the calls. These software track metrics like the number of calls received, the duration of the calls, the average time taken to pick up a call, etc. As new technologies which automate activities emerge, they will increase the Benefits of outsourcing for the client organization. 2.4 Future of technology in BPO. The robotic concept. Robotics process automation is an evolving concept which we can describe as an emerging concept of clerical process automation technology based on software, robots or artificial intelligence workers. We all know that the purchasing goods and paying invoices can be a laborious process using a mix of people, process and technology. In recent years, regulatory compliance has added layer to the process by requiring documented process that segregate duties and have standard steps to related business function to validate information, store transaction data. So the enterprise systems reflect the most up-to-date information, e.g. SAP, Oracle and PeopleSoft. 2. Efficiency tools. These tools allow the team members to automate their tasks and hence increase their productivity. They also allow members to collaborate across time zones. Some example are workflow tools, email, document management system, telephony tools like automatic dialing etc. 3. Management tools. These tools allow the process managers to allocate tasks and monitor its completion. It also allows them to distribute work load, extract reports on the performance and control the process by taking corrective action, e.g. workflow, reporting module, automatic call, distributor, reporting applications etc. As new technologies which automate activities emerge, they will increase the benefits of outsourcing for the client organization. Let us now look at the important tools and applications that are used by an employee working in the AP process. 1. ERP application. Each client that goes for outsourcing of their AP process uses one of the various ERP packages available today like SAP, Oracle, etc. The ERP relates to a software system that integrates different functions within the business. E.g., an accounts payable person can see the status of the purchase order and the goods receipt note within an ERP system while matching an invoice. This reduces the manual paper flow within the various departments and also increases the process efficiency based on certain defined conditions. For example, the workflow tool can be combined with the email system with rules set such that if a person has not acted on a task assigned to him for 3 business days, an email reminder is sent to him. It serves to draw his attention to this fact and request him to complete the task. 3. Scanning. Scanning process converts the documents into a digital image, which can be stored in a computer and thus can be transmitted using the computer network. Scanning an invoice allows people from the other side of the world to view it. Paper invoices. Scanner scanned images. Scanning is done for paper documents that are received by the client organization. This majority of the scanned documents are invoices and credit notes. 4. Management system. In course 1, block 2, unit 7, we have learned that this system consists of hardware and software that manage images and other documents. This technology is used in the AP process to store, retrieve, and manage the images of the invoice and other paper documents. In the indexing process, the incoming invoices, digital image, are given in identification number and other details to retrieve a particular document easily. Logging on to the document management system needs an authorized user ID and a password. As a part of regular duties, the employees handling the indexing activity would be accessing the system. 5. Workflow. We have already learnt about workflows and their application. To recap, a workflow process is an automated process where different resources, employees or computer programs perform a series of actions to complete a business transaction. After a resource in the workflow completes the job assigned to it, the work automatically moves to the next resource and waits for it to finish the job. The way responsibility moves from one resource to another can be configured and customized in the workflow process depending on the business requirement. A scanned invoice image is put into the workflow tool and a workflow request is created against it. This workflow request is allocated to a team member to process the invoice further. The person who takes up the invoice for processing compares the data on the digital image of the invoice with other documents, the purchase order and GRN, and then enters the invoice data in the ERP. This clears the invoice for payment. Then the invoice processor updates the status of the workflow request as completed. A workflow tool is indispensable in an outsourced AP process for the following reasons. A. An invoice or vendor query, once entered into the workflow, can be tracked to completion. B. If for any reasons, a request gets stuck somewhere in the process, it can be located and the underlying issues can be resolved. C. A workflow tool can provide ready metrics reports which allow managers of the process visibility into the process anytime. This allows them to judge the health of the process and identify potential bottlenecks. It also helps them to make an analysis of the past mistakes so that they can take corrective action for the future. For example, the P2P process manager notices that a lot of invoices are held up for processing with two of the team members and their workload is increasing. Based on this observation, the manager can decide to send these two members for further training or provide extra support to them by assigning their requests to other members till they are able to catch up with the rest of the team. Developing a system condition to auto-process the invoices for payment by.
Most of the workflow tools also allow an integration with email systems so that when one person finishes his/her task and the responsibility shifts to the next person, an alert is automatically sent to the next person drawing their attention to the task that awaits their action. The email interface can also be configured to send out reminders in case the concerned person does not complete the task within a certain time. 6. Telephony tools. Some of the outsourced F&A process also require the team to make or receive phone calls. These calls may be to customers, vendors, or receive calls from them. In the AP process, the most common example is the vendor help desk team, which receives calls from the vendors inquiring about whether their invoices have been received and to know the expected date of its payment. Similarly, the invoice query resolution team needs to call up client managers and the vendors to seek clarifications on the invoices that have been kept on hold. For example, in case the prices quoted on the invoice do not match the price on the purchase order, the invoice processing team needs to put the invoice on hold and seek clarifications from the client and the vendor. There are a number of software and hardware applications used to manage these calls. These are called telephony tools. For example, the automatic call distributor, ACD, is a device that is used to route calls and also makes it possible to use software to report statistics relating to the calls. These software track metrics like the number of calls received, the duration of the calls, the average time taken to pick up a call, etc. As new technologies which automate activities emerge, they will increase the benefits of outsourcing for the client organization. 2.4 Future of technology in BPO. The robotic concept. Robotics process automation is an evolving concept which we can describe as an emerging concept of clerical process automation technology based on software, robots, or artificial intelligence workers. We all know that the purchasing goods and paying invoices can be a laborious process using a mix of people, process, and technology. In recent years, regulatory compliance has added layer to the process by requiring documented process that segregate duties and have standard steps to provide checks and balances. While current automation has somewhat addressed this issue, there is still a high degree of manual labor and repetitive processes associated with each of the activity. Opportunities of automation and its impact. Introducing OCR, optical character recognition, solutions to extract the basics fields from the supplier invoices, vendor name, invoice number, PO number, invoice value, etc., will reduce the standard processing time. Developing a system condition to auto-process the invoices for payment by introducing three-way match concept, matching invoice value, PO value and goods receipted value together. This will help to reduce the exception invoices inflow from the overall perspectives. Introducing Pay voting option via system instead of requesting them to receipt the invoice to process for payment may reduce the standard turnaround time on receipting process. Develop and introduce chat box solutions in P2P process will help accounts payable team to chat with the vendors to get in touch with all invoice and payment related queries. Auto-triggered e-remittances to vendors on all payments made on daily, weekly, monthly payments to eliminate payment and its relevant queries. Introducing vendor portal for major invoice contributors to check and understand their invoice status by simply log in to the buyer's portal. Check your progress. 1. Which of the following is not a reason to outsource the AP process? A. The outsourcing service provider brings expertise in AP. B. The client management can focus on the core activities of the company. C. It makes it possible to implement better controls in the AP process. D. The client avoids getting calls from vendors regarding delayed payments. 2. State whether the following statements are true or false. A. P2P outsourcing helps faster processing of invoices. B. Workflow increases the process efficiency. C. Document imaging system stores physical invoice copy. D. The vendors of the client can access the workflow tool. 2.5 Summary. The reasons P2P process are outsourced are 1. Reduction of costs. 2. Faster processing. 3. Quicker resolution of requests. 4. More satisfied vendors. 5. Strong and effective internal controls. 6. Better reporting leading to improved decision making. 7. Standardized business processes. 8. Best practice and process expertise. 9. Freeing up of clients' management time to focus on their core business. Of the P2P process, the steps that can be potentially outsourced are sourcing, procurement and payments. The payment or AP process comes under the definition of finance and accounting, FANDE, outsourcing and will be the focus of this course. An employee working in an AP process uses many IT application, ERP, email, scanning, document management system and workflow and telephony tools. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.